Buying a home is very exciting, and it's also one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. But when you're buying something that big and mistakes are made, they're very costly. Today, we're going to talk to you about big mistakes that home buyers make when purchasing their home. More importantly than that, we're going to talk about what to do so you will not make those mistakes. All that and more on today's episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome again to the Elite Realty Group Podcast, where we bring you the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information you're going to get anywhere on the planet. You're going to get it right here. First, before we do anything, thank you for watching or listening to this episode. And for all of you that are watching and listening to all the other episodes that we have put out, thank you, thank you, thank you. We've got a big show for you today because we're talking about big mistakes. Big mistakes that home buyers make when they're going out looking for the next home that they are going to buy. I'm Mike Elkins with Elite Realty Group in Morristown, Tennessee. Got my partner in crime and brother, by the way, Mr. Dave Elkins. What's going on, my man?
Not much, man. Not much. Ready to dive into this.
I am too, because these are big mistakes.
Yeah, some of them cost you some good money.
Big money. Yeah. Big mistakes cost big money.
Yeah.
So we want to give you guys this information again so that if you're out there in the market for a home right now, maybe you know somebody in the market for a home right now. Again, we're in Tennessee. Doesn't matter where you're watching or listening. These are big mistakes all across the country.
Absolutely are.
So you want to avoid them. And we're going to talk to you today about what you can do to avoid these big mistakes so you don't find yourself into a very costly situation that sometimes the mistakes are so big you cannot even get out from making that mistake. We do not want to see that happen to you. So again, this will be good information for you today. Wherever you're watching or listening to us today, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe for all of the future episodes that we are putting out. A lot of content coming out from all these platforms, but we couldn't do any of it without you guys. So we're thankful once again.
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
Took time out of your busy schedule to come and hang out with us today. Listen to us wherever you are. Let's dive right into. We're talking about big mistakes that home buyers make when they are purchasing a home. I think that it'll be okay with you for us to start out with. There's some very common ones. That I think everybody knows about.
Yeah, and I feel like we've beat them over the head with some of them. So we'll just kind of breeze through the known ones.
When you put out a lot of content, you talk about a lot of things, but you talk about a lot of things multiple times.
Right.
These, we feel like we gave you enough information on them in the past that you probably are very well aware of these mistakes. But here's a big mistake, not one we're going to dive into deep today. A big mistake you will make if you're purchasing a home is not getting pre-qualified, pre-approved before you start. You need to know what you can afford, y'all.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You need a lender to tell you that. Okay. Not make it up, not do your own math on your own paper.
Right. Not what you think.
That's right. You need a lender to tell you that. That's a mistake. If you're not doing that, you are making a mistake. Second one is, that kind of goes right along with that, is not having a clear budget of every expense in your life.
We went over that in depth last week a little bit. I feel like that the importance of a budget. You got to have one, man.
The old term house poor got through around last week. That's a big mistake if you ain't got a clear budget. Go watch last week's episode. We'll tell you more. Third thing is, and I feel like everybody knows this one too, but it's worth mentioning, not getting a home inspection is a big mistake.
Can cost you majorly if you buy a house that has a lot of problems that you don't even know about.
Absolutely. So those are three that they're big mistakes, but we're not going to talk a lot about them because we've talked a lot about them before. We got some more here. We got four more that we're going to talk about that I think oftentimes a lot of people don't think about. And also, you're going to be surprised at some of these that you're like, do people really do that? That's why we're telling you big mistake if this could potentially be you. So let's dive right in. Here's the first one we're going to talk about today. Okay. And I feel like this issue is literally a part of every deal that we do. Like every deal that we do, this thing creeps in. Here is a big mistake that we want to dive in deep with you today. And that is letting your emotions take over.
It's real. Emotions are real, man.
I've said this before. It's been a long time since I've said it, but buying a home is a very emotional process.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
It is a roller coaster, man. I'm talking about we go from excited to nervous,
scared,
to we want to cry, to scared, to okay, we're going to make it. Oh no, we're not. And emotions go wild.
Yep.
Okay. Letting emotions take over during this process, not a good idea.
No.
It's not a good idea. When you talk about that and you say, really? Like, do people get so emotional like they make rash, harsh, bad decisions? You ain't kidding, they do.
Yeah.
Major emotions are a part of this, as I just outlined for you. Don't let emotions get in your way, okay?
Yeah.
I think, and this might be controversial, but I'm going here, okay?
Okay.
I think a lot of times emotions are created as part of the home buying process by people that are in the deal, but they're not a party to the deal. And can I explain?
Yeah.
I'm talking about it becomes emotional when you make an offer on a property, you get a counter offer back, and it's one of those, oh, by the way, we've got 2 more offers coming in.
Right.
You get super emotional super fast.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on you.
Because you're like, I don't want to get beat out on this house. Like, I'm trying to do it right now. Nothing was happening before I looked. And now all of a sudden, this house has been on the market 89 days, and there's 2 other people want to put an offer in at the same time I am.
Yeah.
You take that for what you want to take that for.
Right.
But it happens.
It does.
It happens.
It really does.
That makes emotions tick up fast. What happens when you get emotional with that? You're more apt to overpay for the property. You're more apt to waive some contingencies. You're more apt to overlook that home inspection.
Right.
And those emotions make you make that. If you had a lot of time to really sit and think about this, ponder it over, talk to whoever you need to talk to, you probably would not skip a lot of those things. You probably would say, this house isn't worth that figure. But emotions take over.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one I think another one worth talking about is just like how we kind of talked about that budget.
Yes.
Okay. Like the budget, you got to know what fits you.
Sure.
Same thing with this house. Okay.
Sure.
So that's why it's important, because just like Mike said, it is very emotionally, like you have a lot of different emotions going through it. So here's a lot of times what I see happen. Okay. You've been looking for 2 weeks, a month. Okay. You're starting to get a little bit frustrated with how this search is going. You're not finding exactly what you're looking for. So a lot of times the emotions of it make people think, okay, well, we probably just need to, we can make this work. You know what I mean? We can, this ain't exactly what we was looking for, but we can make it work. And they settle, just like you said, they settle. So I tell people a lot of times, before you ever start, okay, we're making that list, we're making a budget. Also, make you a list of things that are important to you.
Yes.
Because so many times we hear people say, I don't want to drive no more than 20 minutes to work. Okay. Gotta have a 3-bedroom, gotta have a 2-bath, gotta have those things. Okay. We've looked for 2 weeks. We ain't found the perfect one. Now we start looking a little bit further away than what we want to be. Okay. Or we're like, well, it's just a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, but now we can make that work. We can make that work. And then emotions set in, and you make the decision that, okay, I'm going to just go ahead and go with this one that's a 45-minute drive to work. And then it ain't long, man, and you realize after you've bought the house, after you've moved in, that I don't want to have to drive an extra hour and a half every day. So now you're ready to sell the house. Okay? But if you know that stuff going into it, if you have you a list, you stick to your list, it's going to help with your emotions.
We tell people must-haves, like I must have what in my next home.
Yep.
Those are very important things. And you make those decisions before you ever get started.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're not in an emotional rush
Right.
to try to do those things.
Right.
You look at it and it happens so often. Just exactly what you're talking about happens so often. But I mean, I've got to say this because of the time of the year we are. Again, we're recording this podcast in March of 2025. Right now, home inventory, if you're out there buying a house, inventory is increasing.
Yeah.
It's increasing across the country. Over the last several years, you've not had a lot of options.
Right.
It's made emotions take over. It's made more people settle. There's a lot of people right now who have homes that they're living in, and they're quite unhappy with the conditions because they made emotional decisions.
Yep.
They let what you said not to happen, they let that happen.
Yep.
So do all of this prior to, do all of this again in a calm situation. If it's just you, make your own list. If there's family involved, make that with your family. But again, it's must-haves, and don't deviate from that, because again, there is inventory coming into the real estate market every single day in multiple price ranges that you don't have to feel like you have to settle.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll take your time, be patient. You've got those must-haves that are out there. That home will show itself to you.
Right.
It'll be there. Okay. How long? I have no idea, but it will come on the market, and don't let that emotion jump you into that.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to those kind of things, you again get inside of the deal, the home inspection, that becomes very emotional. The appraisal becomes emotional. All of these things just add tension.
Yep.
To this deal, stress to this deal. Your emotions go through the roof. So be sure that you don't let emotions take over if you're out there right now.
Yeah.
Maybe you're sitting in this same situation we've just talked about. You're thinking, I'm going to have to settle. You're worried about that home inspection, those kind of things, and you're making these rash emotional decisions. Oftentimes, when we do something out of raw emotion, we make the wrong decision.
For sure.
A lot of times we see that. So number one is today, big mistakes we see home buyers make is letting emotions take over.
Yeah.
Calm down. Take a deep breath.
Back up for a minute.
Back up.
Assess the situation.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be okay. Projections are saying we're going to have more housing inventory this year than we've had in several years.
Time.
I promise you, friend, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Go to number two.
Number two is I'm going to say it's not shopping around for a mortgage. Okay. This I think is a very, very big one, because I don't know. I'm sure there's a stat there somewhere. If you want me to make one up, I will. But I'm going to say 90%, I would say, of people.
It's high.
Yeah. They just call a lender. They go online and apply Rocket Mortgage or wherever, and they just take the first one that says yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, shopping around is a very big deal when it comes to getting a loan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a lot of myths floating around about all this. It's totally different, I'll tell you, from car shopping. So there's a number of times that you can get your credit pulled for a mortgage and it don't affect your score like it does
in a 30-day period.
In a 30-day period, I'm gonna say that's what I'm saying. There's some rules there. So, but I'm saying, like, when you really look at it, closing cost is something that happens every time you get a loan. Closing cost happens. Okay, different lenders have different closing cost rates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those things can make big money as of to what you're bringing. If you're bringing that closing cost money to the table, that's big money.
Yes.
In sometimes. But or if you're stacking it on your loan, you're asking the seller to pay it. So that stuff matters.
Yes.
So shop that around. 0.5% over 30 years on an interest rate is big.
A lot of money.
Okay, that's a lot of money that you are paying out that you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand. Maybe you can keep the house 30 years, whatever. Shop around, though.
Sure.
Don't just take In everything you do in life, competition is a great thing.
Yeah.
Okay. It makes people give you the best deal. So shop those things around. Don't just take one. I know we are really good about doing this, is we give people at least 3 options. These are 3 lenders that we work with. Call these 3.
Sure.
Call them. Tell
Check
them,
it out.
hey, I am shopping you. Tell them that. Just like if you go buy a car, when you tell them I'm going to shop around for the best price, it forces them to give you a better deal. Okay. So do what you can. Don't just take the first one.
You're not the math guy here, so I'm going to put math behind
Okay.
this,
Yeah.
okay?
I'm terrible at math.
I'm going to put the math behind this and allow you to see what we're talking about. Okay, $300,000 to $400,000 pretty much across the country is going to be
Standard.
your averages. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're going to fall probably in there somewhere, depending on where you're watching or listening to this from. Let's go on the high side. $400,000. Okay, is the price of the home that you're buying. It's a lot of money. Okay, you just mentioned closing cost. Okay. 6% is the maximum amount, when we talk about government loans especially, 6% is the maximum amount that closing costs can be.
Mhm.
Okay? 6%, y'all, of $400,000 is $24,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
Okay? That's the maximum they can charge. Do they have to charge that? I'm not answering the question for them. I'm just telling you that's the max they can charge. Let's just say you make that call to that first lender. You don't call around to nobody else. They say, okay, I can do your loan. Here we go. Here's the terms. Here's the rate. Oh, by the way, your closing costs are $24,000.
Yeah.
A lot of stinking money.
Yeah.
You are going to say, okay, I'm going to shop that. And the person or the people or the other 3 people that you call and talk to, they say, you know what? We ain't going to charge the maximum because we don't have to.
Right.
Just like we're paid, they're paid. Okay. They make money on stuff. That's okay. It's free market society. That's all right.
Yep.
But let's just say lender 2, their closing costs are 3%. Well, we can all do the math on that.
Yeah.
That's $24,000 versus $12,000.
Big difference.
You tell me if that phone call was worth $12,000.
Right.
That pull my credit again was worth $12,000.
Yeah.
But anyways, go and say, okay, all right, it's 4.5%. It's 4% closing costs. Anything less than 6 is saving you money.
Yeah.
So lenders do it all across the board. I'm not opposed to whatever they do. That's between you and them. I ain't got a dog in that race.
Right.
But your point of shopping that mortgage is massive.
Yeah.
It's massive money we're talking about because, again, homes ain't cheap.
Right.
So closing costs are based off of the price of the home. That stuff ain't cheap either.
Right. And you hear people say this, like I hear people say this all the time. I mean, don't they all just do the same thing? Well, I mean, pretty much.
Products wise, yes.
Products wise, yes. But other ways that they get creative, again, that's just ways that they get business. So, I mean, it's like you said, it's worth a phone call. It ain't going to cost you nothing. It could save you money. So, again, don't just take the first one. So many people, I'm telling you, just get online because they don't want to have a phone call with nobody. They just get online. They get on Rocket Mortgage or whatever, and they just fill out their application and they throw a number out to them and they're good with it.
Sure.
I'm just saying, take 5 minutes, 15 minutes, make a phone call to a local person in your area and say, can you beat this?
Right.
All they can say is no.
My second math on this one, okay? And just to let you kind of see these things. This is real world stuff we're telling you, okay? Like this is stuff that we see happen at Elite Realty Group in Morristown, Tennessee all the time. I literally just last week had what I'm telling you happen. I was helping an agent with a deal, and that's one of the things that we were talking about, closing costs and rates, okay? So we understand the closing cost part. You described great. If the rate is 0.5% lower, that payment's going to be lower, okay?
Yeah.
But let me tell you what else that rate does for you. There's this thing that lenders look at on all people that's trying to buy a house. It's called debt to income. So they look at your debt to income. They factor in what your new mortgage payment's going to be. And then that's how they get the amount. Like, okay, you need to go look at a $360,000 house.
Right.
if your interest rate goes down, your payment goes down, that changes your debt to income.
Yeah.
Which means, okay, now instead of again, a $1,250 a month payment, because the interest rate's lower,
Right.
they could pay a $1,650 a month payment.
Right.
But that also changes that purchase price. We literally just last week in this office had a person go from $360,000 and a rate, $360,000 purchase price and a rate with lender one. They shopped it, got lower closing costs, lower rate, and now they don't have to look just at a 360. They're now at 415.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference in what you can buy. I don't know about you guys and where you're watching or listening from, but a 360 house and a 415 house, two totally different houses.
And for those people who's going to jump on here and throw out hate, and they had a same or cheaper payment.
Yes,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? Yeah.
Because the rate
dropped. So yeah,
So
not
that's-
just thinking they can afford more house now. No, the rate dropped.
The rate dropped. Same payment
Yeah.
as the 360 house.
Right.
Okay. Same payment as the 360 house. That's a big thing for a home buyer.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're talking to you today about big mistakes that home buyers make when they're looking for a home. We've been through the first two. We got two more for you. And this third one, you're going to sit there and go, really? This happens? This happens a whole lot. Okay. This happens a whole lot more. We got stories on top of stories on this
Yeah.
one. Maybe somebody tells one. Okay.
Yeah, we could have story time all day on this one.
But here's number three. Okay. If you're buying a home, we talked to you about pre-approval, all that good stuff, closing costs, all that thing. Do not make major, or I could leave the word major out.
Yeah, minor. Could be minor in some
Yes.
situations.
Do not make financial changes before you close on that house. Okay.
Right.
Now I'm going to list them. Okay. I'm going to list them.
Okay.
Because this is like what happens, okay? Don't go out to your favorite neighborhood, home goods, whatever you would want to say store.
Mm-hmm. Home improvement. Let's say home improvement.
Yeah, don't go out there and buy the fence on credit that you're wanting to put in the backyard for your dogs.
Yeah.
Don't go to Rooms to Go and buy that new living room suite on credit and TV and bedroom and all the other stuff that goes on it. Don't go charge up all the paint that you're going to use to repaint the house. Mm-hmm. Don't go do that stuff.
Yep.
Okay. That all changes that thing we're calling debt to income that we just talked about. Because now you have new debt.
Yes. So many stories
on top of
how this changes, because I tell people, the lender, when they approve you, they take a snapshot of your credit
at that moment.
At that moment when you are approved.
Yes.
The day of closing, they are going to pull that again. Okay? Mm-hmm. If anything is different from what they first originally saw,
yes,
you could be denied your loan.
Correct.
We have had people the day of closing. It's a happy time. We've got U-Hauls loaded up.
You've canceled your apartment.
Yes.
You're out.
You're out. And they've went and made as little as he just said. We have literally seen people go finance the paint that is going to paint their new house inside the house. And that changed something. Payment. Okay. That changed their payment because their debt to income is different now. Now, again, we can't throw a blanket, just like everything in life. We cannot throw a blanket over all this.
No.
But there's certain people in certain situations that are in a very tight box. They've got approved, but their box is tighter than others.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Incomes are different for every person. So sometimes minor details, if you're right there on the edge anyways, minor details change stuff. We've seen people where they want to surprise their wife, and not only are they getting a new house today, but they're getting a brand new car.
This happens. Yes.
And we show up to closing, and the wife pulls in and the husband pulls in in her brand new car. So now we can't buy a house.
Oh, Lord.
Don't change nothing.
No.
I don't care what it is.
No.
Wait one more day.
Yes.
Just wait.
Yes.
So I said, if you want to go finance that paint tomorrow, go tomorrow.
Yes.
Do not do it before closing.
Correct.
Do not. It's not worth the risk.
No, it's not. And like you said, that's different for every person.
Every
buying a
person,
house.
yeah.
Okay, you may have all kinds of income left.
Yep.
You may be supposed to be at a 45% debt to income, and you're at 10. You're
Yep.
doing great.
Yep.
Okay. Most people ain't like you.
Right.
Okay. Most people have a whole lot of bills, and they're sliding in just barely going to be able to qualify debt to income on this house. You got good credit, all that. It's your bills. It ain't your credit. It's your bills.
Right.
You go add again an $850 car payment to them bills, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes as low as you go add $100. So don't do that. Okay?
Listen. Okay. And One more thing. Let's just say you have to. Okay. Something happened. Some life event happened, and you have to.
Sure.
At least make a phone call to your lender and say, hey, something big's come up, man. I have to do this. How is this going to change stuff?
Yes.
That way, at least you know prior to going to the happy day. Okay.
Yes.
You can make adjustments then. Don't wait till the last second.
No.
Don't wait. People think, well, they ain't gonna know.
That's
They will
what I was
know.
going to say.
They will know.
I think a lot of that happens, and when number 4 pops up here that you get to talk about, I think we can really heap this on. But I don't think a lot of people just simply don't know that.
Right.
That's why we're doing this podcast, y'all. I'll give you the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information anywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
I don't think that you do it just to go do it.
No.
Again, you're like, hey, new house, let's get a new car too.
Yeah.
Let's get all this furniture. Let's get all this stuff, and let's just charge it up. It's okay. Like, you don't know. Well, now you know. Okay.
Right.
Don't go do that, because again, there are life events that happen, but you got to start putting the weight on the scales here and say, hey, do I need to go borrow this money from Aunt Sally, or I need to go out in the yard and dig it up because it's buried out there? Like,
Right.
What do I really need to do here that's not going to knock me out of getting this home that I've thought enough of that, like, I'm buying this thing?
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to say on that, okay, and this is one of those, like, you shake your head, okay? But don't go add any new debt. That just covered everything we talked about. Another big financial change that people make that's pretty massive.
Yep.
Don't quit your job.
don't even change jobs.
Don't quit your job. That's that one I told you earlier. You're going to be like, really? Really?
Yeah.
It happens so often.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is a 45, 30, 45, 60-day process, and we get in the middle of it. And again, it's like you just feel like, man, the world and things are going my way. I'm just so much is lining up. The stars are lining for me. I'm buying a new house. I bought my wife a new car, and you ain't going to believe this, right in the middle of it, I got offered a new job.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's just so great. Like, I'm going to make more money and all of this stuff. And like, my start date is going to be like a month from now. And so it's going to be good because I can quit my old job. It'll give us time to move and paint from the paint that I bought and keep the new car clean. So I'm just going to go ahead and give my 2 weeks notice over here and quit this job.
We've got money in the savings account. We've got money set back to cover my missing paycheck for that 1 month.
What's that going to hurt? That's what people say. Like, what's that going to hurt?
Same thing the day of. They are going to verify your employment, that you still have it.
Yes.
They're going to check and make sure that it's still there. Again, story time again. But we've had that happen. We have literally had what he just said happen. Yeah, multiple times that it worked out, that they called and said, hey, lender called. Hey, just want to verify so-and-so. Still an employee there. Well, actually, they turned in their 2 weeks notice yesterday.
Yes.
Lender blank stare, but it changed everything. So don't. That's, again, better yourself. I understand it completely. Better yourself if you can. But make sure, again, if it's one of those have-to things, talk to your lender beforehand.
Yes.
Tell them, this is what I've been offered. What's your suggestion?
Correct.
Again, end of the day, if the ultimate goal is for you to buy that house, you want to go through with what you want to do. Right. You don't want any surprises coming up the last day.
Not at all. Not at all. And again, you mentioned this earlier. They take a snapshot in a period of time.
Yep.
And that period of time they took that snapshot, that's where you worked at. And they approved this whole deal over those numbers, that length of employment, because all that's you got to have.
Yep.
And then when you wipe it out, it changes things. We've
Yep.
been 30-some minutes. Let's go. Give us number 4.
Last one, I'm going to make it really fast, easy, and simple, is find you a good realtor that will help you through this whole process, because everything that we've addressed, even the ones that we didn't dive deep into, if you've got a good realtor that you're working with, they will help you through each and every one of those situations. Okay.
Yes.
They're going to help you keep your emotions in check.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give you some different lenders that you can shop around with. Whatever our last one was about, they're going to tell you, don't making
make
all
these-
these changes
No.
prior to.
No.
They're going to help you. They're
Yes.
just there to guide you through the whole process. Okay.
So
Find you one. Keyword, find a good one.
yeah.
Okay. Because everyone's not created equally.
That's exactly
So find you one that you mesh with, that you trust. I would suggest find one who considers it their full-time job,
right.
who actually works it full-time. Sometimes part-time's great, but I'm telling you, just like everything in life, if you put full-time in, you're going to get full-time out. So find you someone who works it, knows it, everything about your local specific area.
Yes. I mean, it is we're realtors. Of course, we're going to tell you that, but you say it all the time. And this is, if I need heart surgery, okay, if I need heart surgery, I'm not going to the toe surgeon.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to the person who deals with hearts.
Yeah.
House buying, it's the same thing. Same concept, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't try to navigate it along, because all these things can pop up and it can get hairy fast. Okay.
Quick.
It can go crazy fast.
Yep.
And so just like we told you to shop lenders, shop realtors.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't take the first one.
Do that.
Yeah.
Okay. It will save you big time later on down the road. Anything else you got to add, my friend?
No, Dux. I mean, I feel like what you said, we've been 30-some minutes. This is one of those ones, man, you can talk about for days.
All day. All day, every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day. Because again, we're blessed to be able to assist a lot of home buyers, that are buying houses. So we've got stories on top of stories, but we'll save that. Maybe we'll do a podcast one time.
Story time.
Real estate story time. That's a real good idea. I need to remember that. Anyways, that does it for us on this episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast. Again, wherever you've watched or listened from today, make sure you like and subscribe. All of these new ones come out every Wednesday for your viewing and listening pleasure. For my partner, Dave, I am Mike Elkins. Again, we are with Elite Realty Group in Morristown, Tennessee. But if you need assistance, you just want to talk and you're anywhere in the country, you look us up, hit us up. We'll be glad to share our opinions with you guys.
Yep.
Have a great day. We hope everything you do is highly favored and blessed. We will see you guys on the next episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast.